Is Missouri a tax deed state? In this video, we're going to walk you through the whole process through Missouri, and you'll know exactly how to make money or avoid risk in this state. In fact, by the time we get done, I'll show you how you can map this out, and not just in Missouri, but anywhere around there. Be in the process of buying a tax lien certificate within 30 days. So stick around and I'll show you how to make that happen. That'll be my gift to you, if you will. Okay, let's talk about Missouri. Missouri is a very odd state when it comes to tax lien certificates. Okay, why do I say that? Because Missouri has some unique aspects of it which we'll cover on here, so make sure you pay attention to that. But let's just talk about what happens. Okay, it's a tax lien state. So what does that mean? A tax lien certificate is a first position lien on the property due to 1 year delinquent in property taxes. You've heard me say a tax deed and a tax lien are the same thing, are two different sides of the same coin. And Missouri is no different. What they say in Missouri is, and like they do in other places, they can't sell a tax lien on a property until the property owner has been delinquent at least 1 year. That doesn't mean the property owner doesn't owe the taxes. Now keep in mind, when you buy a tax lien certificate in Missouri, you're not buying somebody's property. I'm going to repeat that. You're not buying somebody's property. In fact, you're just dealing with the county. You're never dealing with the property owner. The county is your workhorse. They'll do about 90% of the work for you. In return for putting up that money, the county is going to give you a certificate with an interest rate. In Missouri, that is 10%. Okay, so they're going to give you 10% on the amount that you put up there. Now, there is a 1 year redemption period. So there you go. You got 10% in 1 year redemption period before you can make that happen. So that's how a tax lien certificate works, and that's what it is in the state of Missouri. Some things you need to understand before you do that. You just don't go to a sale and start buying tax lien certificates because they're paying 10%. You've got to do your research and make sure you know what's going on. There's a plethora of counties in there, and so you have to start getting the list. The sales are typically in August. Again, as of this recording, they are. But remember, they can change that at any time. So most of the sales are coming up in August, and most of the lists will start coming up the end of July, somewhere in that area. So you have to check the local listings on that to make sure. Now here's a caveat of Missouri. Okay, this makes it attractive, and at first it's going to appear on a blush that, wait, I can't do this. In order to buy a tax lien in Missouri, you have to be a Missouri resident, and you can't owe property taxes on any of the other properties. Interesting, huh? So what you're going to have to do is get a proxy bidder to buy for you. Not a big deal, okay? What this does, see, most people go, oh, well, I don't want to do that. Then guess what? You're going to have less competition, okay? 1 year redemption period or 10%. I'm kind of liking that a lot. You have to know what you're doing. You don't want to just go willy-nilly, don't know who Willie is or Nilly is, and just start buying liens. You just don't want to do that. Just start buying liens for any reason. You want to make sure you've done your research. Number one, you want to stick with single family residential properties. Now, if you know commercial property, God bless you, go for it. Okay, I'm talking about if you're brand new and you're novice at this, just stick with what we all know what a single family residential property is. Now, the other thing you want to look at is what's the median price of property? So what's the average price of a home in that particular county that you're looking at? So let's just say, for instance, that it's $250,000, okay? Very typical in Missouri. So if it's $250,000 and you're looking at a list of single family residential properties with tax liens coming up on the sale, I'm going to say, okay, I want to find a property that's somewhere in that gap. So if you see one with a fair market value or ARV, after rehab value, of 225, you go, okay, wait a second, it's a lower income property. The adverse goes the same. If you see a property that's $300,000 or $400,000, you get a higher end property. You don't need to get in all this research. So the most important thing you want to look at is the lien that you're buying is a lien on a property. You better make sure you want that property, because remember, Missouri, it's only got a 1 year redemption period. They got 1 year, 10% or 1 year. So you want to make sure your underlying security, which is the property, is a property that's worth it. In other words, I don't want to buy a lien just because it's available. It could be on an undesirable property. What would be an undesirable property? Maybe, I don't know, it's unbuildable, has no power access. There could be a number, it's burnt down, it's in a neighborhood that's undesirable. And there's a lot of them in different areas around the country. You got to make sure that you've done your research on that. So when you're looking at the values, you want to stay within those ranges that you're looking at. The other thing you want to look at whenever looking at liens is, what is their procedure? I just gave you a couple of them. You must be a Missouri resident in order to buy a tax lien certificate, and you can't owe property taxes on any properties in the state of Missouri. Most people look at that and go, I don't want to go to Missouri. I like that. Anytime a county makes it more difficult to do business, because most people won't do the difficult things. Okay? One of the things I've learned about, if you're willing to outwork people, you're going to make a ton of money doing this. So let's take an IRS lien, and I'm looking at a deed property, okay? So the IRS has placed a lien on that property. Everybody, oh, there's an IRS lien. Well, with a little bit of research, all I need to do is make sure that the IRS has been notified. They've got 120 days to respond. If they don't respond, that IRS lien is no longer valid on that. But what everybody else thinks of is the big bad IRS, right? So when people see an IRS lien on a property, like for instance, I saw a property one time in Arkansas, and it had warning on the window that it had been a meth house. Well, if you read the rest of the warning, it also said it had been cleaned up, because the county's not going to sell a property that's got a meth problem on it. It just says, hey, they have to disclose this. And then so what? Oh gosh, it's a meth house. No, I'm not worried about that. Has it been cleaned up? Are you good to go? You're just going to have to disclose that. Again, when Missouri says you have to be a resident and you can't owe any taxes on, I'm going, okay, so how do I partner up with somebody that is a resident that we can make some money on this? You've eliminated some competition potential on that. So anytime you're seeing that stuff is not a bad thing. It means it's putting obstacles in other people. But remember, you must do the research on it. So the value of the underlying property has got to be enough that you want it. So I'm paying $2,000 for a lien, and it's worth $200,000, and the average price of a property in that particular area is $250,000. I'm good. I don't care where you're at. When you're buying a tax lien or a tax deed, you want to visually look at the property, okay? Whether you go do it or somebody drives by. The technology nowadays, you pick up your phone, somebody can take a picture and send it to you, is too available to avoid this. This is such a crucial deal. Understand, in the past, I had to fly there. I had to take a picture. I had to use a Polaroid or have somebody go by and do this. Now, I mean, heck, my realtor doesn't even need to slow down. They just take a picture of it. Most of you looking at a property can tell pretty well what that property is about. But remember, you're not knocking on the door and getting in there and saying, looking at the property, because you're just buying a lien. You're not buying the property. Once the redemption period is over, now is the time to foreclose. And that's where you hire an attorney. They will foreclose on the property. In Missouri, it takes approximately 90 to 120 days before you get clear title on that property, but you're good to go. A couple of advantages there. Missouri is a lien state. It is paying 18%, and there's a relatively quick point where you get to it, 1 year, where you can start the foreclosure process. So what you're doing is you're taking more shots on goal. You're scoring more often. So as anything else that we're doing in all the different training I've done on tax liens and tax deeds, you need to understand how the process works. And Missouri is no different than anywhere else. Whether you're doing Missouri, Maine, or Seattle, it doesn't matter. You need to understand the process. And you're in luck. I told you I was going to give you a blueprint. Literally, I'm going to give you a blueprint. All you have to do is click on the link down below. I've got a brand new course that is my gift to you. Yes, it is free. Just click on the link, fill out the information, and I go into detail on exactly what to look out for, what to do, what not to do, how to get money there, and how to make money really quickly. If you follow these instructions, you should be on your way to your first deal within the next 20 to 45 days. We'll see you on the top. This is Saen Higgins saying God bless and good luck. See you out there.